Hey, Carson. Wanted to ask you just what have you seen as far as the growth in your game this season as you prepare for this upcoming Cotton Bowl going up against Ohio State and their defense?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me and this offense, right? Because I mean that's what the quarterback position is, right? It's leading an offense, it's getting the ball to your playmakers, it's making the right checks, the in the run game, the pass game, the and protection. There's so much that goes with the position of quarterback. I think the biggest thing that I've really been able to develop in is just being comfortable in a pocket, right? With different types of pressures and different types of looks. I mean, teams have tried to throw everything at us this year, and that's a huge thing that I feel like I've gotten a lot better at. Is just comfortable in the pocket, and then making the right checks, making the right calls. A lot of the unseen things that people that might not understand, football at a very very high level don't see on the field is these little checks and in the run game and pass game and things of that sort. And I think I've gotten a lot better at that throughout the season.
Next, we'll go to Adam Lichtenstein from the Sun Sentinel. Adam, go ahead.
Hi, Carson. So two questions from me, one serious and one a little less serious. The first, just when going back and looking at the A&M game, what did you like about your game, and what did you dislike, and how much did the wind affect you guys on the play calling? And then the less serious one is what inspired the short haircut?
Um, I thought we played. I mean, a clean game. It was a really really good defense, right? They very talented up front in that front seven. They are obviously the number one team in the country on third down. They had a great plan against us, and the win definitely affected in some way, shape, or form. You go watch the go ball that I threw to JoJo, and I mean the ball blew 15 yards to the right. When it came out of my hand, I literally was saying, "Oh, that's a touchdown" in my head. And next thing you know, it just keeps going to the right, and I'm like, "Wow, like that is absolutely ridiculous." So, and then I mean, there's a couple other throws, and I mean, even for their side of the ball as well, you can see the effect that the wind had on the game. But obviously, you lean on that big physical offensive line, and Mark Fletcher just has the game that he does, and we're able to ultimately win the game, leaning on them in our run game. So, and then the short haircut, and I don't know. I mean, I've done it. When was that? What year was that? 2023. I mean, all of 2023 when I was at Georgia, I had the buzz. So I don't know. It's kind of hot down here in Miami, and having too much hair kind of is hard considering it's almost Christmas and it's still like 80 degrees at practice. It's work, but yeah, I don't know. I just decided to do it.
Do we have any other questions for Carson? Okay, let's go to Dan Hope. Dan, go ahead.
Hey, Carson, just wanted to ask you, what are your impressions of watching Ohio State's defense? What do you think are the biggest things that you guys are going to need to do well to have a chance against them?
Yeah, well, I've only had one day to really watch them and what they do. So I just kind of try to get a general culmination of their, rundowns and things of that sort. I haven't really dove into the specifics of, third downs, red zone, situational football. Kind of just watched a couple games and seen what they do. Again, obviously they're a very, very talented defense. In the back end, the front seven, I mean, they can run all over the field. I mean, sideline to sideline, they attack the ball well, they swarm, and then again, their DBs are really, really good. So it's going to be a challenge for us offensively, but it's a challenge that we're looking forward to. But we do, recognize how talented they are, and that we're going to have to come and execute. And at the end of the day, it'll be about us.
And we'll go back to Adam Lichtenstein. Adam?
Hey again. So two defenders who really stood out of several on Saturday, but in the secondary, Keontae Scott and Bryce Fitzgerald. Just going against them in practice. What stands out about them, and like, were you surprised to see them, do so well on Saturday?
Not surprised at all, dude. You see them every day in practice making plays. You see the way that they work and prepare, and the whole season. I mean, those two guys have really impacted this team, and they both are guys that came in. I mean, they're in their first year, right? Obviously, Keontae being a transfer, and Bryce being a freshman, but the way that they've both been able to have an impact, and it being their first year here, along with, me and a lot of other guys. But I mean, they changed that defense, honestly. You look at the spring and then you look at when those two guys came in, including another couple guys that came in, it completely changed the landscape of what our defense looked like. And they've been making plays all year. So it was awesome to see, especially that last one. I don't know if y'all saw the TV copy, but I'm freaking out on the sideline after Bryce caught the last touchdown. I friggin' literally sprinted down the sidelines at him, but man, it was awesome for them to be able to make the plays that they did, and then Keontae obviously come back after being injured for a little bit.
Next, we'll go to Jordan McPherson. Jordan, go ahead.
Yeah, hey Carson, I've got two questions for you. First off, we talked with Shannon Dawson yesterday, and he mentioned just your guys' relationship on the sideline in terms of in-game adjustments and whatnot, and you basically telling him late in the game, hey, we need to be running the ball. I can see how this is going to be working. Can you just take us through just how that relationship and that trust between you and Dawson has grown over the course of the year, and just how much your input and how much he's trusting your input in games as the season has gone along?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it takes time to build any type of relationship and build a bond or build trust, which is ultimately the biggest thing when it comes to an offensive coordinator and a quarterback, is that trust for me to him and then him to me as well. Because there's things that, from his vantage point on the sideline that maybe I don't see the same or he doesn't see the same, right? So it's important that we communicate and talk to each other while we're out there. And really the biggest thing throughout that game is, we were running the ball at 10 yards a clip, I guess it might have been like 8, but I know Mark was like 10 yards a clip. And I could see just as the game evolved, our guys were leaning on him. And that type of game where it's just a physical, brutal battle, it was war out there. And that type of game, ultimately, those 2-yard, 3-yard runs at the beginning turn into 5, 6-yard runs, right? Your 8, 9 turn into 12, 14. So I just kind of saw their defense. You could just see in the way that they're playing. And I don't want to say in their effort. Obviously, they were playing their butt off, but our guys were just physically imposing their will on them. And that's how I went up to them, we are physically dominating them. Just go smash mouth, just go right at them. And I think we're going to just be able to go right down the field. And I'll be damned if at that last drive, first play, go right at them and there goes 60-yard run. Boom. We're just right out the gate. So again, we played very physical, but getting back to the main point of the question, I think that it takes me having trust in him and him having trust in me. And that helps our offense a lot. And our relationship has grown into something that obviously I very much appreciate with Coach Dawson.
And then wanted to ask you about James Brockermeyer. Just obviously the quarterback center relationship's important one. Just how has your relationship with James grown throughout the year, and what has stood out about the way that he's performed for you guys this season?
Yeah, he's one of my best friends on the team. Obviously, we spend a lot of time together. He's in the locker right across from me in the locker room. So obviously we talk a lot throughout the day and practice and outside of practice. So he's really, really smart. I've been around some really good centers. This is my third center now and my third year starting. And he's one of the best. All of them have been really, really good. Every single guy that I've played with. And he's right up there with all of them. He's so smart. You can tell the effort and the extra time and film that he puts in each and every week, right? A lot of the calls he's initially making and originally making. And then obviously I have the final veto because I can see the whole picture. But a lot of times I don't have to change anything because he's right. And if teams are doing things that are exotic, it's where it's a little bit harder for maybe him to see the back end, right? That's when I can step in. But he's done an unbelievable job this year. And again, very, very grateful to have had him as my center, this season and moving forward.
We got time for a couple more. We'll go next to Chris Stock. Chris, go ahead.
Hey, Carson. Yeah, Carson, just curious with Shannon, can you just clarify or maybe just sum up what it's been like working with him, and then maybe what area of your game you think he's helped you with the most?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing about our relationship in this season, and something that I noticed early on, even when I wasn't practicing, is his demeanor. The way that he carries himself on the sideline during practice. It's honestly the perfect demeanor and coach for me. I think it's the most perfect fit just in the way that I am, because I'm mostly calm, cool, and collected, but like I can get very fiery and very just in the game, and like I don't know how to explain that, but I'd say fiery is the word. Just based off of kind of like the flow of a game, and his demeanor honestly helps me stay very level. Just kind of eliminates the emotions of what a football game can bring, especially as you know we continue to go through the season and the stakes and the expectations of each and every game. But that's what I would go to say that he's also taught me the most, and it's through action. You know, a lot of times you teach through action, and watching him and the way that he carries himself each and every game, each and every day on the sideline, it keeps me super level headed, and it's honestly made me a better quarterback and kept me in a better headspace this whole entire season. So super appreciative for the relationship that we've been able to build, and also the ways that he's been able to teach me on the field as well as off the field.
And we'll wrap up with Barry Jackson. Barry, go ahead.
Carson, it was a bit of a slow start for Elijah Lofton, but he's really come on, obviously, this last month. What has he done to make himself more of an impact player, and what have you and Shannon done to help that along?
Yeah, well, he's always been talented, right? He's always been talented, and we knew that from the jump. I mean, when I was coming in here, I was like, who's this number 9? Like, who is this guy, right? And you see him making plays in practice, and the way that he's able to move and get open and get separation. It just honestly early in the season, kind of the way we were calling it, it didn't ask a lot of the tight ends for the most part, right? There weren't a lot of maybe opportunities for him to make plays, right? And when he did have his opportunities, he showed up, but there just wasn't a bunch of opportunities, right? So, and later in the season, as we've kind of mixed and matched and done different things and moved people around, right? The way that we have been this past month or so, he's had a lot more opportunities to make plays, and obviously stepped up huge for us. Obviously had a big catch, getting us in a field goal range this past game on that 2-minute drive at the end of the half. Obviously, we weren't able to execute, but again, and then he does a lot of little things in the run game, blocking for screen game and things of that sort that kind of go unseen and unnoticed. And he's a great kid. I'm obviously one of my best friends on the team. We've been hanging out since the very jump, and super proud of him, the way that he's been able to develop and grow this season, and the way that he's been able to contribute, you know, these past 4 games, past month.